around your couch and you can be sipping a beer at the same time does not mean they don't need exercise. So that's a myth too. All right. The last one that Laura Cross brings up on vetstreet.com is small dogs are less manly. That's in quotes, less manly. So going back to the teacup Chihuahua, puppy, by the way, on a leash with this 6 foot or so bodybuilder type with his, like not even wife beater, it's more like a wrestling shirt, forcing the dog to walk on its 4 paws and get up and down into the grass to go pee outside and heel at its side. I mean, the sight of it alone was cartoonish, but what was amazing was that little dog was the most confident little dog I've ever seen when it comes to little dogs, right? Normally, when you see teacup Chihuahuas, everybody's carrying around like Paris Hilton. So you got this little teacup Chihuahua that wasn't even full grown, walking around feeling all proud of themselves for accomplishing the small task of getting off the edge of a sidewalk and getting back up onto the sidewalk after it finished peeing. So how you act around that dog and what kind of breed you pick really is where the manliness comes. I've seen some pretty tough little, people/dog companionships here, partnerships that are they're not lacking in manhood or masculinity. They're tough little buggers that go out biking and chasing and hiking and all that stuff. So it's not about less manly in terms of the size of the dog or even the breed of the dog, but how you touch and train and handle the dog. I do happen to know someone very close to me who goes, "Ooh, puppy wuppy," to little dogs. That's the less manly part, okay? It's not the dog, it's how you react to the dog. So, for all of you who would like, you gentlemen out there who would like a dog but feel like because they have a smaller apartment they shouldn't get a big dog, and then if they get a small dog they'd be made fun of, you need to just suck it up. All right, if you want a dog, get yourself a nice little athletic terrier or something and just be a real man and walk that dog like a real dog. That's all I got to say about that. Now, moving on to our next thing here. I'm going to reinforce this in your little brains here, that this is about training. One of the things I have a problem with in terms of small dogs and as a trainer going to clients or students' houses is that there are so many excuses people make about their little dogs. Well, they're little dogs, so they're always going to be nervous. Oh, they're little dogs, so, you can't expect them not to bark a lot. Oh, they're little dogs, and I know they pee all over the place and they're aggressive, but I manage it. It's okay, i.e. I can pick them up on the last minute to prevent any blood loss or a lawsuit, which I don't think is good for the dog. So it's the small dog excuses that I hear is really kind of the problem, or to me the root of it all, is that if you want your dog to act like a dog, because they don't see themselves as little dogs until we treat them that way. It's kind of like kids don't see themselves as worthless unless they're treated like they're worthless. So the same with little dogs. So if you treat them like they're incapable, they will be incapable. So things like them always being nervous. I've seen a lot of big dogs be really nervous, but people don't have the excuse of just picking up a big dog. You can't pick up an 80-pound nervous lab very easily. It can be done, but it's not comfortable, so people actually do something about it. But with little dogs, people say, well, I can pick him up and carry him away when he's trying to lunge at a child, so it's okay. Not really the best option. So managing small dogs, or calling it small dog training, where it's like, well, as long as they don't shit in the house too much, we're okay, that's where we have problems with little dogs, and people have these myths. But I'm telling you, a little dog, a small dog breed, doesn't see themselves as anything different other than slightly height disadvantage in terms of eye contact than any other dog. So if you've got a small dog, treat it like a dog, like it's a big German Shepherd, like he thinks he is. Or if you're thinking about getting a dog but afraid that the small dog's going to lower your status, then train the dog to be a kick-ass dog. That's all. I mean, anybody's status is upgraded as soon as you have a well-behaved dog. And as far as I'm concerned, just like men, you ain't cute unless you got good habits. That's all I say. If your behavior is crappy, you're not a cute. dog or cute human. So, if you want a little dog, go for it, guys. Don't think about manliness. Get yourself a Boston Terrier and go hiking every day or whatever you've got time for. But definitely think about these little dogs as just happen to be a little height disadvantaged compared to other dogs, but no less difficult to take care of, no less of a dog than any other dog. I have seen small dogs do some pretty amazing things, and it's quite a treat when you see a well-trained dog, small or big. All right, now I'm going to go into my shubs of the week, because that's the end of my topic. What else am I going to say about little dogs but bag of chips, right? Because I'm still hungry. Anyway, shubs of the week. This was classic. We've heard this before. You've seen this before. You may have done this before. I'm at a street corner. I'm about to approach a street corner and go across the street, and I'm training this puppy who's like a spaz monkey, and she's like looking back, because there's a dog behind me. I can hear the tags, etc. But I'm like trying to teach her not to keep looking back, but to focus on sticking with me and go forward. Well, the one who's coming behind me eventually addressed me from behind me. She had a big boxer that was pulling her pretty hard. And the boxer was not even aware that, like, you could see the collar indenting like an inch into his neck, because that it's so desensitized to it doesn't care, it's choking itself. We've all seen that in all sizes of dogs, right? And she's like, oh, well, she keeps looking back because there's a dog back here. I'm like, thank you. I really don't give a crap. I don't care what's back there. The dog needs to trust that I'm going to take care of it. So she's doing that. I'm like, okay, fine. So we reach the other corner, but she happens to pass me because she's got to go faster because her big dog is dragging her ass across the street. But then her dog stops on the corner on the other side of the crosswalk. But I need to get past them, go to the right. So I'm waiting for them to move the H out of my way. But she's letting her dog stand there and stare down my dog, pulling on the collar, and getting more and more excited. And I said, we need to go this way, so I'm just waiting for you to move. And so she finally decides to move, and of course the dog just goes after my dog. And I was like, yep, that's what I saw coming. Of course, I did also passively aggressively say, hey, watch that eye contact. I know he's staring you down. I'm talking to the puppy. He's like, watch that eye contact. That's how aggression starts. And that's when he went, rah, rah, rah. I said, see, told you. I kept going. So, look, people, don't let your dogs pull and yank. If that's a problem, I don't care what size dog it is, you got to fix that. You're creating actual aggression. What happened in that moment that she moved, not only did she let that dog get built up with more excitement by just, for whatever reason, standing there. Like that's what I walk a dog for, so that I can have other people's dogs just stare at each other. So they could just stare at each other. That's what we go outside for, is to have that staring contest happen. So anyway, she goes, when she finally moved, she put extra pressure on the leash in a different direction. So the immediate reaction, the instinctual reaction of that dog is to react as if it got bitten. So it's going to it's just going to snap. It's going to go over the edge and lose all composure at that point. So you're creating leash aggression, you're creating dog aggression, and you're pissing me off. So don't do it. That's a Shubs move big time. And not only that, you're fucking with my training. It's clear that I was training a dog. Don't interfere with the training and get in my space and start saying, oh, isn't it so great that they're so excited? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Okay? Shubs move. If somebody's focusing on their dog and trying to get them in control, don't interfere. Don't do it. And please train your dogs so they're not a-holes, because they don't deserve to be a-holes. They weren't built for that. You just made them that way. That's my Shubs story of the week. I'm sure I'll have many to choose from for next week. If you've got one to share with me, go to That Dog Training Show with Tanya Yarbrough. You can just type That Dog Training Show on Facebook. It'll find me, definitely. Or you can email me at thatdogtrainingshow@gmail.com to share your story with me, and so I can, tell them on the air, and you can remain anonymous. It's okay. Anyway, until next week, remember that you need to serve your dog in little ways every day by giving them some way to serve you in little tiny ways. Because in the dog world, to love is to serve. So serve them well. I'll talk to you guys next week. I just want